Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Orange Report with Kira Davis. This is me, Kira Davis, with all the news and views you can use from around California and Orange County. Happy Monday. It is 420. That'll mean something to the stoners out there. To the rest of you, it's Monday. Either way, I hope you're having a great Monday. We've got a lot to cover. It's not so great here in the state of California. I want to let everybody know that today I will be sitting in with my friend Dr. Drew on Ask Dr. Drew. Ask Dr. Drew Live. It'll be today, 2 p.m. Pacific, and you can find Dr. Drew basically on every platform, but the best place to watch him is here on X. I also broadcast live to X. I love broadcasting live to X, actually. They have a great platform for broadcasting, and I'm looking forward to helping this show grow. And you can help us too by liking, subscribing, hitting, share, all of that stuff. If you follow me, Kira Davis, on my Kira Davis account, thank you. It would be so helpful if you would just take a quick trip over to the Orange Report OC. That's Orange Report OC, and just hit that like button, hit that follow button. It just helps, with the algorithm. The more voices, the better. I will tell you that since I started this journey, I really didn't feel like there was a place to go for people to go to get consolidated California news, and there are a lot of places out there, but you have to curate them. So it's kind of one of my goals to sort of be curating all of this stuff. That's why we do the end of the week show, which is really California focus and Orange County focus. We sort of do a mashup of everything California based that we do throughout the week. But throughout the week, we talk about all kinds of things. But as I have been saying since I started this show, California news is America news. That's it. Like, what's going on here is so crazy, and it's coming out to you. I mean, right? Our governor, we've been through this before. It's just all the ridiculousness. And I know when you guys know, somebody posted on X over the weekend, I'm leaving California. I'm moving to Idaho. I'm leaving the state for the first time in my life. What kind of advice do you have for a California transplant who's, joining, quote, real America? And it was just a litany. It's the same thing every time. It was a litany of responses. The number one piece of advice when you get here: don't vote the way you voted in California. Don't vote in the liberal policies that drove you away. And I understand the sentiment, but I'll say this: most of you out there in other states, we like to call real America, the Californians you're getting, they're people like me. They're pretty conservative. They're pretty, or at least moderate. They're moving because of that. They're moving because they know they don't live in a utopia. So hopefully that will give you some comfort. But I know a lot of you have been experiencing the political shift of Californians moving to your area. And I just want to say this. I've said it over and over again. It's worth repeating. It bears repeating. You can't control how other people vote. It doesn't matter what you hope Californians are going to do when they get to you. They're coming to you anyway. We're on our way. People like me are staying here so that fewer of those people leave, right? We want to make this a place that people want to stay. I wish people in third world countries would do that too. But we're trying to make this a place people want to stay. But in the meantime, you can't control who's coming to you. You can't tell anyone how to vote. You're not allowed to. You're not allowed to control someone else's vote. I know Democrats dream of that, but that's not how it goes. The only way and the best way to protect yourselves from Californians who are coming your way to escape the hellscape that we've created here for ourselves, the only way is to make sure that those offices, those government offices, those positions that control your day-to-day life, that they're occupied by people who already speak the language of common sense. That might mean you have to run, right? That might mean you have to volunteer for some stuff. What I don't care for is people in other parts of the country accusing us in California of ruining your area, and you're not doing anything to protect it. You have to protect it, because these people are coming whether you like it or not, and there's literally nothing you can do to stop them. You can't make a law. I know you wish you could. And in your defense, I wish you could too, but you can't make a law to prevent us from moving to where you're moving. And the liberal Californians that are coming your way, they love big government. They love government. They love meetings. They love conference calls. They're the people who are going to come to your area and they're going to get into government. The left understands ritual. The left understands commitment. The left understands the value of habitual behavior. I heard an interview with a guy who, this is on one of my woo-woo podcasts, blurry creatures. I don't know if you're blurry out there, holler. I I heard an interview on one of the on one of those podcasts, and it was a gentleman who works on Skinwalker Ranch. Okay, Skinwalker Ranch is, I think it's here in California. It's like a hotbed of paranormal activity. A lot of paranormal researchers, alien researchers, and spiritual Christian researchers post up at Skinwalker Ranch. It's a privately owned ranch, but occasionally the owner will open it up. And he was there. One gentleman was there. He had just taken a team to study some stuff. And he said, we were there. We're always there with all kinds of different people. It's not just Christians that go there or ghost hunters. He said, we were there with a man who was part of a yoga retreat. And he believed that there was like spiritual things going on here and he wanted to access it. And so we were all there together for 2 weeks. And he said it was his group, sort of the lefty spiritual gurus, and it was our group, the Christians. And that guy was out there praying and meditating every day at sunrise. Every day he got up and did his rituals, his meditations. So he said the Christians, we were kind of willy-nilly about it. We pray before meals, or we didn't have any kind of rituals going on. He understood the value of habit and the value of consistent ritual. And we've sort of let that go. I think Christians are especially guilty of that because we feel as though the New Testament came along and it replaced the Old Testament, and it didn't. Jesus said he doesn't replace the law. He comes to fulfill the law. The law still applies. And so there are still some ritualistic things we should engage in because it matters. It has value. And I want the left engages in ritual, and they engage in the ritual of government and government engagement, right? The right, people like me say, well, I go to work, I come home, I pay my bills, I raise my family. That's all I want to do. And I want to vote for the people who are going to represent me in government. But the left doesn't do that. The left says, I'm going to represent us in government, and I'm going to make sure that government is doing exactly what I want. So I'm going to pay attention to the things that I don't like. And maybe their facts are twisted. They don't have all the right facts, but they're still engaged, and they're the ones running for office here in Orange County. We've had a complete takeover of our beach cities all along the coast, and it's been going on for 10 years, and it was pretty much complete in 2022. There's a backlash happening. You guys have seen former Mayor Steve Knobloch of San Clemente on this very show. He's talked about how he ran for office because he was so sick of it, this beautiful beach town. And he was really instrumental in securing the beaches there, getting beach cameras to look out for those illegal alien boat landings. We're still dealing with the issue, but it's a lot better now. We have a lot more options in dealing with it because some Republicans have stood up and said, hey, wait a minute, what's going on? But we're really late to the party here in Orange County. A lot of this county has already fallen to Democrats. And that is because a lot of people in Orange County, and I'll admit I was one of them for a long time, just sort of sat back and said, well, this is a red area. It's a red county. And people are largely conservative. And, the school board's fine. Or it's probably just other conservatives. City council's fine. And it's not. Democrats have been steadily increasing their government presence, and progressives have been steadily increasing their presence. And it's been purposeful and it's been effective. So if you don't want the same to happen where you are, you need to make sure that those avenues, those pathways aren't available for the weirdos that come to your state from California. Because I promise you, if I could do something about them for you, I would, but I can't, I mean, I'm just glad they're leaving here, but I know that makes them your problem. And again, you can't tell anyone how to vote. You can't change anyone's vote. And it's really hard to change anyone's mind. The best you can do is protect your community. So I want to tell you, and that goes for all the illegals flooding your communities, all the Muslims flooding your communities. If you want to resist this, you have to be in the apparatus of control. I know a lot of you don't like that out there because you feel like it's a little bit selling out, because you kind of have to navigate the establishment. If you want to get more and more power, you have to navigate that. And that's just a reality of it. I don't think the conservative base in the Republican Party does themselves any favors by pretending that the establishment is only there to be beaten and never to be worked with. They're winners for a reason too, and so are we. So we have to learn how to navigate that world if we want to get results. So a lot of you are going to have to maybe swallow some pride or, grow a pair. Like just go in there and say, hey, I don't care what the establishment is doing. I'm forcing my way in here. I'm going to protect what we have. I'm going to protect our town. I know you're already seeing it where you are. Your small towns are being invaded by values and people who don't align with your own. And again, there is nobody who can save you from that except you. Go fill those positions. And this is what you need to do. This is part of why we do this show. Find the influencers, find the podcasters, find the purveyors of information who are telling you what's going on. Go to a meeting, any meeting. People ask me, Kira, where should I start? I always say a meeting. Go to a meeting. Go to a meeting of your local Republican club. It's a great place to start. It's like low key, not a lot of commitment. You get a lunch and you get to hear people talk, but you'll start to hear about things you didn't know were going on. But if you don't want to do that, go to a government meeting of any kind. Go to a city council meeting, a school board meeting, and just sit there. Just dedicate one afternoon or one evening of your life to go. It will change. I promise you. I promise. And if it doesn't, write to me and tell me you lied. It will change how you view local government. It will. Most of you don't know what's going on there. And that's the problem in America. All right. We've got a lot of problems in America. Let's look up a couple here. All right. Where do I start? Well, let's start with Ilhan Omar. Let's go to number 4, Scott. Ilhan Omar. How do we get rid of this woman? I hope and I pray and I think the Trump administration is working on ways to get rid of this woman. But let's take a look at, let me pull this up. Headline today, Ilhan Omar says goodbye to her millionaire status after her office says past filings showing the Congresswoman had up to $30 million in assets were due to accounting errors. An updated filing now claims she and her husband have assets valued up to $95,000. The revised disclosure came after the Office of Congressional Conduct requested additional information about the Minnesota Congresswoman's apparent wealth earlier this year. That is a shocking accounting error. Ladies and gentlemen, what happens to you if you make that type of accounting error on your tax returns? What happens to you? You're probably going to jail, or you're at least going to pay a hefty fine, and you're going to lose a lot of your current assets, right? Ilhan Omar just gets a headline in Fox News. I think this is when people express frustration with the Trump administration for the pace they're working at with prosecutions. This is why. And I'm not saying that this is his fault, because I understand that these things take time to put together. I'm actually a lot more patient with the DOJ than I think most Americans are, but I feel the frustration, and I think it's fair. I think it's fair. Well, we don't want these headlines, because inherent in this headline is you are second tier to people like Ilhan Omar. You, the American taxpayer, who is providing her riches and glory, by the way. You're providing that for her and her family and her Somalian refugee, or excuse me, not refugees, her Somalian family who are living in Somalia. You are providing that for them. While you will be prosecuted, you will be imprisoned, you will be punished for this type of behavior. $30 million down to $95,000, that's no accident. And I don't even have to say that out loud. You guys know that. It's patently obvious. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. I want to know how we get this woman out of our country. She doesn't belong here. She doesn't belong in Congress for sure. None of those third world rejects belong in Congress. Sorry, not sorry. We're at dangerous levels here in our country with this third world takeover, this Islamic takeover. We are at dangerous levels. I read an article from Elizabeth Nixon. If you don't follow her on Substack, she's really an amazing writer. Some of my friends recommended her to me. Kind of a black pill writer, but I think she worked in the first Trump administration. I don't remember all her credentials. Some of you may know her. Nickson, Nixon, Elizabeth Nixon. Great commentator, but she wrote a great article the other day, and I'm sorry I didn't pull it up. I'll try to post it for you later. Maybe I'll write it up on my Substack. Go follow my Substack, justkiradavis.com. she wrote an article the other day talking about how Trump is a moderate. Trump is a moderate, and who is going to follow him is actually going to be a lot scarier to the left and maybe to the right. Trump's a moderate, but I do think that this is my sincere belief, sincere held belief. We are going to win. We are going to win midterms, and we are going to win the next presidency, because I think some things are about to start happening in this country that are really going to prove that Trump's path is the right path, and we're going to want more of it. But as we move along, we're going to see just how much we've been taken advantage of and just how dire the situation is in racial and religious aspects of our culture. And we're heading for a snapback that is going to be very cold and I think very strong. And I don't think the left is going to like who comes after Trump. And others on the right have been saying this for quite a while. If you follow Jesse Kelly over at The First, Jesse, why don't you have me on your show anymore? I never see you. But I used to be on his show a lot, but I still follow him, still love everything he says. And he's been talking about this for years too. The snapback is going to be hard. It's going to be really hard, because I think Americans are not like Europeans. Europeans have allowed themselves to get to the point where they are almost helpless against this. Remember the story, you guys, about the American tourist, a woman who beat up a pickpocketer, I think in France or Italy somewhere. She basically beat the hell out of him, tried to steal her I think did steal her passport, but because he was lazy, because in Europe, they favor the thieves and the third world monsters, right? Those people are privileged in their society. And so he really didn't, I don't think he really like put a lot of effort into it and wasn't expecting the beat down he got. But she grabbed him, beat him down, and then inspired so many American tourists to do the same that the European police had to issue warnings and issue extra security in the tourist areas, not for the pickpocketers, not for the European citizens, for the American tourists, so they wouldn't beat up the pickpocketers. Like, Americans, we're not like this. We're not like Europe yet. We're not there yet. Okay, we still have fight in us, and we still feel entitled to liberty and safety. And that's a good thing. So that is still, that undercurrent is still running through American society. And people who are taking advantage of that should be scared. Trump was just our first move, not the last one. And what's coming next, I do think, and I'm not even saying that I'm approving of it. I think it'll be easier for someone like me, because I'm on the right. I'm pretty far right. I think it'll be easier for someone like me, but I think what we're seeing coming is a true and total snapback. And you can almost see it in how we completely ignored Black History Month and Pride Month over the last year. And this June's fixing to be the same with Pride Month. They just kind of disappeared overnight. Pride Month 2024 was almost an occultic practice. It was everywhere. Target was papered, and no one sells this stuff. Go into Target this June and see how much of their Pride stuff is on the sale rack. Like, of course, nobody wants that shit. Nobody wants it. It's tacky, first of all. It's all like, none of it's fashionable or stylish. It's just tacky, but it feels religious. We don't want it, but overnight. And now, you know, when I'm going through social media, when I'm doom scrolling, or even when I'm just looking at the news at night, and I see the memes and things that are posted, particularly about Black people and Black culture, these are things that never would have posted and never would have been receiving so much attention in the last 3 to 5 years. And now they're going viral, and people are feeling very open about expressing what they think of us, expressing what they think of Black culture. Because I'm using air quotes, because I don't even really know what that is anymore. I don't know if I would assign Black culture to my own Black family, you know, cookouts and stuff, but some of the stuff I see online, no. And I think a lot of white people are done with us. It feels that way. It feels that way. It feels like we've definitely overstayed our welcome. And the whole, you have to listen to me because I'm from an oppressed class, it's not flying anymore. It just isn't. And if we keep pressing it, it's really going to be bad. What we don't want is for white people to get to be like that American woman, right? In the plaza in Europe, just going, I've had enough and I really don't care what you think. I'm concerned that we are going to get to this place where, and you know what? I'm not even concerned. I'm there. I am there. I don't care about the things that sound bad to say anymore. We're here because we haven't been brave enough. We're here because we thought the truth would simply defend itself, and we shouldn't offend people by defending the truth. But the truth doesn't defend itself. The truth is a concept. It needs a defense, just like our Constitution. Our Constitution is a piece of paper. It does not hold any value or authority unless it has human beings to defend it. The truth needs your defense. I'm going to give you the perfect example of how far down this rabbit hole we have fallen, because people like you and I, we're all guilty of this, have failed to tell the truth when it counts. By the way, just to put a button on this story about Ilhan Omar. Data Republican has a great thread on it. If you go to that thread I posted, you will see underneath Data Republican posted a response. Data Republican has been calling out Ilhan Omar and her husband, her white Muslim husband. He converted to Islam to marry her. I don't trust white people who convert to Islam. I do not trust white Americans who convert to Islam, even less than I trust Muslims. He converted to Islam to marry her. And immediately that's when they began this journey to this $30 million net worth thing. And she posits that a lot of it is fake, right? That they can say it's an accountant error because it's fake. It's to bring in new investments, but that's the juice you get when you marry into Congress. How do we deport her? I think we have every right. She's not from here. She's not a citizen. She's naturalized. I think we have every right to disabuse her of. It's greatly offensive that she governs in the halls of Congress. And I think it's dangerous. And I think she needs to go. She should be deported, and so should every single person in her family and extended family. And I don't think we actually we don't owe anyone an explanation. If you ask me, we can do whatever we want. This is America. We can do whatever we want, and we can still do it within the boundaries of the Constitution. Our founding fathers gave us the tools to do it. I believed it this whole time. I believe it now. All right. I want to go to this story. Let's go to, oh, you know what? I want to do this AB Hernandez story, but I don't want this video. I want, here, let me go grab it for you. Well, now it's all chat Bianco stuff in my timeline. AB Hernandez, can you just search Beth Bourne, Bourne, and then AB Hernandez. And AB Hernandez is I guess we call him a trans identifying boy. And he has stolen this past week 3 titles. Hey, Got Flavor, welcome to the chat. Looking great today. Thank you. I'm going to assume you look great too. I can't see you, but holla. All right. AB Hernandez is a teenage boy who has been stealing track and field titles from girls in the state of California, up and down this state, for the last year. Or actually, you know what, Scott? Here, go to my Substack, justpuredavis.com, and pull the top article and share that screen if you would. It's right there. Okay, so AB Hernandez is a boy, and he's been winning girls track and field championships for a year in this state. And while he's been doing that, Gavin Newsom has been out flip-flopping all over the place about girls and boys sports. Tomorrow I'm going to cover what he said on the Sean Ryan show. I saw one of those clips. This guy, he's horrible. Here we go. But he's been, that's what he told Charlie Kirk. Oh, it's about unfairness. He said that while AB was taking titles away from girls. Here's the title of my article today. Total Erasure. Trans-identifying boy obliterates historical track and field title held by Black woman since the 1980s. I say if there's one argument the transgender madness crowd makes, that I and others by now am completely exhausted by, it's this: you are completely denying the existence of trans people. You are erasing an entire group of people, literally. The entire transgender movement is centered around erasing womanhood. I'm just reading to you from this article now, because it aptly expresses what I'm feeling. It permeates every aspect, from grown men forcing their way into women's private spaces to teenage girls being told their mental health struggles will be solved by miraculously changing sex. The point is always the same. The most important women are men. The healthiest women are men. The women who deserve to be protected more are men. It is blatant erasure, and this past week, another example of that erasure was visited upon California in the high school girls track and field arena. A.B. Hernandez is a transgender identified boy who, with the help of his mother is a real piece of work, has been bullying his way to the top of high school girls athletics in California for the past year. Hernandez has already been dominating the state girls high school track and field category, stealing wins and records in long jump, high jump, and triple jump, which you can imagine a 16 or 17-year-old boy competing against a 16 or 17-year-old girl in the long jump. Like, you can imagine what the odds of him winning over every single girl in that competition. It's just absurd. Scroll up a little bit, Scott. He did the same at the Mount SAC Invitational. That's the Mount San Antonio College, a top tier statewide athletics event. The event holds some pretty significant records for female Californian athletes. Hernandez deleted one of the most distinguished female records in the history of the state. Listen to this. The transgender identifying boy pulled off a hat trick at the competition this past week, winning the long jump girls division, triple jump girls division, and high jump girls division. According to girls' rights activist Beth Bourne, the last time such a feat was accomplished in the female category was Wendy Brown in the 1980s. And she goes on to say that AB won, he tripled, leading 19-4 to win the long jump, spanning a distance of 41 to 7.5 to win the triple jump, and then cleared 5:10 to win the high jump. According to this interviewer in this video that's available that she posted, the last time an athlete won all three jumps at the Mount SAC tournament was Wendy Brown in the 1980s. Brown went on to become a national NCAA champion for USC before competing in the Olympics, and Wendy Brown is a Black woman. So AB not only erased the record of a woman, he erased the record of a Black woman, which was probably a first. I didn't look this up, but I'm going to bet that in the 1980s, that was a first. So the left, this is how you know that this transgenderism is a cult. It's a despicable, evil cult. And this is how you know it, because the left has been selling us on the cult of racial identity for the last 50 years. And they've been swearing to us up and down that race is the only thing that matters. They have been telling us that nonstop. But you know what altar the sacrifice of race must bow to? The altar of transgenderism. That's where racial preference stops, where the preference of men begins. It's absolutely vile. 3 young girls, I want to read these names before we leave here, because these girls were the real winners of these competitions. And thank you to Beth Bourne. If you don't follow her, Bourne on X, she is an absolute freaking warrior for girls here in the state of California. She shows up to these places alone and is abused often, hit. Grown men will abuse Beth. I mean, the fact that this goes on in the state of California, it's just, we are at critical mass here. All right. Malia Jones of Oceanside High School won the triple jump. That's the real winner, not the boy, A.B. Hernandez. By the way, the boy that these school districts forced girls to change with. These girls have to undress with him. And if they complain, they're offered mental health care. Like, Julia Tevin from Brea. Julia Tevin from Brea Olinda High School won the high jump. That's the real winner of the high jump, not A.B. Hernandez, the boy. Amaya Estes of Canyon Crest Academy High School won the long jump. That's the real winner of the long jump, not A.B. Hernandez, a boy. All right, that's it. And I know a lot of people out there will say, I hear this from the other moms and the other activists of women who are doing great work here in the state of California, much more important work than just my commentary. And I hear from them say a lot, and rightfully so. I'm not criticizing them for this, because they're on the front lines. But I hear them say, we don't blame AB because he's a child, he's a minor. And, this has been going on for him since he was 13. We don't blame him. This is really his mother. And honest to goodness, if you go out there and find video of his mom, she really is, she's psychotic. She's definitely a mean girl. And she's definitely married. She's definitely wed to this idea of having a girl. And I'm going to bet AB's mom that what your real issue is that AB is a gay boy. And that makes you feel like a failure as a mother. So if you make him a girl, that means you just have a girl like every other regular mom. But you're not a regular mom, are you? There's something wrong with you. There's something broken in your soul, and you're not a regular mom. And you're making your son prove to the world on your behalf that you are a regular mom. It's Munchausen by proxy. It really is. It's keeping your kid sick. But AB is a year away from being considered a legal adult. I don't think 12 months is enough of a difference to keep me from criticizing him. He's purposefully hurting young women. And I think he gets excited by making women uncomfortable. I think that that's a fetish of some sort for him. I think it makes him feel good. Now, I'm not saying it's a sexual fetish. It might just, a lot of young gay men hate women. They've been abused by women, and they're jealous of women. I mean, you can ask other gay men. This is not just me. I'm not just making that up. But there is a deeply misogynistic thread that runs through, and I say this as a woman with gay male friends, and they'll back it up, a deeply misogynistic thread that runs through the gay male community. And so you are putting your daughter in danger when you force her to undress in front of a male like that. He's getting something. He's getting some kind of reward for it. Let's say the uncomfortable things, everybody. Don't be afraid. I just saw some of you cringe out there. Don't be afraid. I'm going to prove it to you. Do you ever wonder why pop culture and fashion is so messed up for women? Why women get all of these competing ideas about what it means to be a woman and look like a woman? Let's take the anorexic view of women before it's switched, and it's switching back. Thank you, Ozempic. But it's switched. So we went from the 40s and 50s where, there was a curvaceousness that was appreciated in women and aspirational. And then we moved into the era of Twiggy. Some of you might not remember Twiggy, but Twiggy was the heroin chic model. She gave us heroin chic in the 60s and 70s, where that's where models had to become stick thin. And that is the figure that dominated us and then moved into Hollywood and dominated Hollywood, and still does in many ways, and dominated the fashion industry, where a size 0 is considered standard and a size 4 is considered plus size. For reference, I'm a size 10. That's considered plus size. So when you ask yourself, God, it's so crazy, why'd it get like that? Because gay men took over the fashion industry. They became the designers. They became the stylists, right? And they became the commentators. And what do gay men like? Boyish figures. And so gay men made the female fashion industry into what they like to see. And then women began to accommodate that, not understanding the shift that had taken place, because straight men don't like heroin chic. They don't like women who look like little boys. They don't, right? Now, I just saw somebody the other day complaining about all of the work that women are having in Hollywood. They're mutating their faces in their 20s. They're getting Botox and lip filler and cheek filler and like it's with the fake hair and everything. And they're starting to look grotesque, monstrous almost. They're looking older for sure, not younger. And they're wearing their makeup and it's just caked on and it's so fake. Why all the eyelashes? You guys make fun of those 30-inch eyelashes, Jasmine Crockett's eyelashes. And I heard a man say yesterday Why do women do this to themselves? We don't like that. It's because that's drag culture. It's still gay men setting the tone for women. That's drag culture. The exaggerated lips, big butts, exaggerated private parts, right? That's drag culture. So when you talk about, oh, we have the drag queens in the schools, or we have the drag queen story hour at the library, or all of a sudden drag queens have come to represent gay culture for some reason, and then you wonder why women are essentially dressing and styling themselves as drag queens. Gay culture runs women's fashion. That's why. So all of this is permeating. It's this thread. It's this underlying thread that's permeating how women see themselves and how society is meant to see women. And AB is a victim of that, and he's also perpetrating that. And again, it's just like the frame of a post-pubescent teenage boy is completely unrealistic for a woman to achieve. Posting those kinds of numbers in a triple jump, long jump, high jump is completely unrealistic for a woman to achieve. It is cruel and it is evil to put young women in the position to imagine that they ever could and then force them to try. And then pile on top of their humiliation by making them shower and undress in front of the very man that took their title. I'm disgusted by it. And if you're not, I don't know what's wrong with you. Tycoon Adana says, I so think like you. I am being outspoken up here in North California and Northern California and defending the Constitution unashamed. I don't know why I can't talk today. Unashamedly. Keep going. Yes. Thank you. Yes. Like, grab your pitchfork. I think we've learned to laugh at this. Got Flava says, awesome. Yeah. California needs more people like you. Agreed. I think we have trained ourselves to laugh at it because during the dark ages, during the Biden administration, it was too dangerous to do anything else. And in California, you just feel so defeated all the time. But I just want to tell you, everybody, I think this is our moment. I don't think we need to feel defeated. And I don't think this is a time for squishy moderates. My entire life as a Californian, almost 20 years now, my entire life, I have been told that the only way for a Republican or a conservative to win in this state is to be moderate and to speak to the moderates and to moderate your position on things. And I always thought that was a dumb idea, but now I want to tell you, I completely and wholly reject that idea. Absolutely not. People want clarity. They want to know what they're voting for. They don't want your lily-livered, yellow-bellied, middle of the road, lukewarm BS. They want to know what they're voting for, or in turn, what they're not voting for. And I believe that the truth has value, and I believe that the truth will be rewarded. And I think we have the ultimate example in that in Donald Trump. And he never couched anything and won the entire country and frankly, the entire world. He never couched anything. He never lied about how he felt, even if it was going to be unpopular. You need to do the same, and you need to be willing to point it out in public when you see it. And I know it's tough, especially as women, because then we're Karens. But I think we just have to not care. I think it's disgusting. I think it's disgusting that young girls have to. How disheartening. Like, how utterly disheartening. Anybody who has done any kind of athletic activity, let alone organized athletic activity, knows the effort, the amount of time and effort you have to put your body through to get to the top of your game. And here in California, a state of 40 million people, if you make it to the top of your athletics category in this state, you are the elite of the elite. And you have sacrificed your body, your time, weekend parties with friends, all of the regular activities that normal teenagers engage in America. You've sacrificed so much to be there. You've had injuries. You've probably stunted, some of your growth. The medical bills you've piled up, the coaching bills you've piled up. How completely disheartening then to make it to the very top of your field and then lose through absolutely no fault of your own, but because a boy said he wanted to be you. And adults nodded and smiled and said, what a great, that's so good. What a great job. I'm not going to break down. I've changed my mind. I put the video up. There's an interviewer interviewing AB. Go find it though. Go follow Beth or go look at my timeline. I cannot. I've decided against it. I find it to be absolutely vile. I'm actually running out of words for it, but it is a man. It is a grown adult man interviewing AB after his historic win. And he's just gushing over him. Oh, I can't believe it. And how about this? And you dominated. And it's gross because this is a young, frail boy wearing makeup and long hair, wearing a girl's costume and a bad girl's costume at that, like a caricature of a girl, like the kind of caricature that a perverted older man might be attracted to. That's the costume he's wearing. And then when you hear this man fawning over him, as a mother, it just raises every red flag for me, every single flag. And we've been told we're supposed to ignore these instincts, and our girls have been told they're supposed to ignore their instincts in the locker room, in the bathroom. And I face this too with my own daughter because she didn't want to bring stuff to me that was going on at school because she knew I would be upset. She knew I'd kick up stink. She didn't want the trouble. Because she didn't want the trouble. She's not the trouble. The girls are not the trouble. Boys like AB are the trouble. And I think he deserves to be called out too. I don't think 12 months is long enough of a distance from accountability. He should be accountable for it now. Now, do I think he should be punished? No, because this is his mother's doing. And where's his dad? There's usually a common denominator with these children. Where is his father? But he's purposefully hurting young girls, and I think he should pay for it. I really do. Tiberius, longtime listener, first time caller. Keep doing what you're doing. Oh, wow. Thank you, Tiberius. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate it. I love when the little people come into my chat. I love when the little people come to say hi. I'm just kidding. I know that guy. Thanks, buddy. I don't know what else to say except Beth Bourne. Thank you for doing what you do. This is not my calling. This is not what I go out and do every day, but it is my calling to talk about this. And Beth, I was with you in 2013 when we were fighting these laws that are now normalized. A lot of you are surprised because this is now just coming to light. But in 2013, I was out there battling these laws that make this legal now here in California, and they passed. And that was that. And then we all moved on with our lives, but we didn't, did we? Turns out we didn't really move on with our lives. Somebody holler if you hear me. Like I don't care about your feelings, and I don't care about AB's feelings, and I don't care about his mother's feelings. I don't care. I have no compassion for them at this point. I have all the compassion in the world for those girls who have to be shamed and embarrassed and are forced to stand on a field in front of thousands and thousands of grown ass adults who just smile and nod and go, "Isn't that great?" It's vile. It's vile. And I'm admonishing you to be bold. Now is the time for boldness. Our girls deserve it. Perverts. All right. Oh, I'm going to pull up this Omar headline, Scott, number 6. I forgot to include that. It's kind of funny. I need you guys to see this one. It's from the Babylon Bee. We were talking about the Ilhan Omar accounting error earlier. She went from being worth $30 million to suddenly overnight being worth $95,000. Here's the Babylon Bee headline. Ilhan Omar assures public her finances were handled honestly by professionals at the Quality Accounting Center. Accounting Center. You can't even say it wrong if you try. Accounting Center. Oh, thank you, Babylon B. I do. You can see me over there. Actually, I'm on the latest episode in season 2 of Texans Move to California, or Californians Move to Texas, alongside my good friend Siaka Masquoi. I love Siaka, and I'm just in it for a little bit. I've appeared in the series a couple of times over the years as the marriage counselor. And I don't know if you guys out there know that I do work with the Babylon Bee on occasion, less so these days. Most of the people who were my, sort of connections over there are gone. I don't get the call as much anymore, and they have access to, they only needed me when, no one would go work for them now because they would hire actors and people would be like, oh, Babylon Bee, no, and they cancel. So I don't really get calls anymore, but you can see me over there in older sketches. One of my most popular sketches is the spelling bee. It's the most viral and it's the one I get recognized the most for, but great headlines as always from the Babylon Bee. And then let's move on to this, we got to talk about Chad. We got to talk about Chad Bianco. So I'm going to move to, this is more localized California news, folks. So if you're watching from the national audience, you may want to pay attention. You'll see, we have this governor's race going on here. And I know you guys are hearing a lot about the two Republicans that maybe could go through the primaries. Steve Hilton, former Fox News host and former businessman, and Chad Bianco, Riverside County Sheriff. And I know a lot of you are excited about that. You're hearing that it could be two Republicans going through. I'm here to assure you that will not happen. It would have to be a miracle. And not that I don't believe in miracles, because we all just came through 2024. So I'm not completely dismissing that possibility. But there are still 7 Democrats in the race, and there's about 4 who are polling at the bottom who are not going to stay in to June. They're just holding out for cabinet positions. They're not going to stay in. Once they leave, those votes are going to consolidate to the top. Democrats is going to push one or both out of the top. So right now we're having this debate among the right, whether or not we should be supporting 2 Republicans or do we need to coalesce behind the strongest one. You've heard my point of view. I think we need to form around Steve Hilton. He's been polling at the top since the start. Like there's no other race where we will go, oh, that's not the strongest candidate. Like there's no other race. He's never left the top. And that's the miracle in itself in California, that he's been polling from at the top from jump. And his Republican opponent, Chad Bianco, has been holding steady, but that's all he's been doing is holding steady. He's got this immigration problem. He was a little bit loosey-goosey on immigration. And his camp keeps saying we're taking it out of context, but it's not the language that people want to hear right now. And it's causing him problems. He's got this BLM kneeling thing, which to my mind is the bigger deal. But actually, Californians seem to be more concerned with his stance on immigration. And he keeps being asked about it. And the reason he keeps being asked about it is because he never gives a good explanation for it. He keeps explaining it and saying, you're taking me out of context. But then he explains the context and it's just the same thing as what he said. And he gets angry about it. And I think this is the problem that I'm having with Bianco, the biggest problem. As a Republican, let's say that he was the one that went through and it's between him and the Democrat. Could I vote for Chad Bianco? Sure. If that, maybe. I wouldn't hate it. But my position is he wouldn't even be in a position to compete against a Democrat because he doesn't have the talking points and he doesn't have the temperament. And they're going to come after him with everything. And I know that any candidate who thinks they're going to reach the top, any Republican candidate, has to be prepared for it. Now, Swalwell, he made the gross miscalculation that he would be insulated from it because the Democrat machine was still strong enough to insulate him. But guess what? The Democrat machine is collapsing. That's why I'm saying we don't have time to really be arguing about this kind of stuff. We really don't. We have to make very calculated and pointed decisions right now. And I just don't think Chad is ready for prime time. So here's an interview Chad did with Britt Meyer, the Britt Meyer Show. Great interviewer, asking great questions. I don't know if you guys know, this is not the type of podcasting I do. I'll have friendlies on. I'm a talker myself. I like to talk, so I don't really spend a lot of time talking to other people. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. But Britt is excellent at it, good at her job. And I want you to listen to Chad's response. We're going to do number 3 here, Scott. Now she's a friendly fire, by the way. She's friendly fire. She's not anti-Chad. She's friendly fire. She's actually giving him the opportunity to explain this away, which is what a good proxy would do for you. I don't know if she's a proxy. That's what she sounds like, but she has a great, she's giving him a golden opportunity to explain this away. She asks him about the immigration mishap that everyone keeps bringing up. And I want you to listen to his response. Go ahead.
If you remain here illegally and you stay under the radar and nobody ever finds you, more power to you. I couldn't care less. I'm not going to come hunt you down. If you remain
No,
here,
this is not the one. I want the other one. I think that's number 3. Yeah. That's fine. I mean, that's valuable too. I was going to play that after, but yeah, we'll play that again in a minute so that you can go back and hear what he said. But you just heard Chad say, hey, I'm not worrying about those people. If you're illegal, but you're flying under the radar and you're not causing problems, I'm not coming after you. I'm going to explain his context to you because I do know the context, everybody. I know y'all think I don't. I do. I listen to Chad. I listen to him every day. And I listen to his explanations and I listen to all of his podcasting. But here is Britt Meyer. And I want you to listen to her. I want you to listen to her context, right? She is professional. She is mannered. She is reasoned. This is not an attack. She is asking the question you would want your interviewer asking a candidate, especially a candidate in a race like this. Go ahead.
You have said that we have to give a path to citizenship to the ones that are here. We have to create a way for them to become U.S. citizens and productive, and that as governor, you would fight for a path to citizenship. Where do you stand, and where do you draw the line between enforcing the law and deporting criminals, and then also creating a pathway for the millions who are in California already?
Okay, so here's the problem, and I'm going to say it's my fault too, but it's your fault too, because you ask these open-ended questions that are compound questions, and when I answer, then whoever's listening can spin that however they want in the little soundbite that they take. So I'll try and cover the entire gambit of it. I am the law and order candidate. I don't believe in breaking the law. I don't believe in any breaking of the law. If you break the law, you are going to suffer consequences. The consequence of coming into this country illegally is when the federal government finds you, they kick you out. You knew that coming in. You're always going to know that while you're here. If you remain here illegally and you stay under the radar and nobody ever finds you, more power to you. I couldn't care less. I'm not going to come hunt you down. The problem is when you get caught, you knew you were doing it illegally and now you got to go.
What's the context, right? I played the soundbite, or we accidentally played the soundbite, right? That was the little clip that he was like, you're going to clip this up. There was a little clip. Then I played you the larger context. Did the context change? He literally, and I want you to pay attention to how angry he got with her. And that's friendly fire. That's not some state-controlled media bimbo asking him this question so she can get a juicy soundbite for the Tom Steyer campaign. She's on his side, and that's how he talked to her. He was absolutely livid. And what was his and he literally just sat there and said that was the full context. That was the full context. He said, if you're here illegally and you're flying under the radar and you're not causing trouble, more power to you. Your Republican candidate for governor just said that about illegal immigrants and then called himself the law and order candidate. Ladies and gentlemen, who's in the wrong here? Who's the problem here? Is it me or is it Chad Bianco? Because I'm just a voter. And you know what I want to hear the sheriff say? Because I know what the larger context is, and that's what he means, the larger context. The larger context is, hey, these people, I didn't invite these people in. Biden did. They're here now, so let's just take care of them. And make sure no one else comes in, which is the mistake we've been making for the last 40 years. We've been doing that, and this is where we're at. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. That's his larger context. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that context. I don't think most of the base agrees with that either. However, let's just give him the benefit of the doubt, shall we? Let's just concede his point. Let's just pretend that he was correct. Then the answer to this question, and I am loath to give good advice to the Bianco campaign, but this show is still in its nascency, doesn't get a whole lot of views yet, so maybe he won't go fly under the radar. The answer is not, you are the problem for taking me out of context, or it's not to become like a child and scold your interviewer who is asking a completely legitimate question. The answer is, listen, as sheriff, I have certain boundaries of the law that I have to adhere to. And so I can't necessarily go out and arrest every illegal immigrant just for being illegal. They've got to be engaged in some visible. See, I can't even make the argument because it's so ridiculous, but I'm going to try. It's got to be engaged in some visible public display of criminal activity. And then absolutely I have every right to pick you up and ship you off. But as governor, I will make sure that number one on my agenda is to deport every last illegal here, because you should not be using our system and abusing our system if you are an illegal immigrant. California is for Californians. That's the answer, Chad. And it's really easy. It's super easy. That's the answer. If you want a good clip out there, say that and let people put that clip out, but you can't because you don't believe it. And that's the problem. That's what disturbs me. I actually thought for a while that Chad was just trying to go for that middle, but now I understand that he believes this. He believes this, and that's a problem. And that is going to be a problem. And I know some people on Chad's side have convinced themselves that he's going to go get that the moderates are going to be happy with that. But I'm telling you, we are in a moment of clarity. We are in an age of clarity, and people want clarity, and they don't want to be pandered to. And anyway, if you're going to win the primaries, you damn well better appeal to the base, because this is a midterm election and this is a base election. And if you can't win the base, it doesn't matter. You're not going to win enough of the moderate. Why would a moderate vote for a Democrat light when they can just vote for a Democrat? It doesn't fly. And that's what, this is not the moment we're in. And Chad keeps blowing it because he thinks the wrong thing on this issue. And that's why he can't speak about it confidently. And that's why he can't make this go away. I have no opinion on Chad as a man, Chad as a human, Chad as a Christian. I don't know him. I don't know his wife, Denise. But as a candidate, he's bad. He's not ready for prime time. If he cannot even handle the very light pushback from a friendly podcaster, how is he going to stand on stage after stage after stage with California Democrats and California Democrat-controlled media and answer the accusations and all of the things they're going to throw at him? How is he going to do that? And that is not to say that Hilton will not have those same things, right? Because once we hit the generals, then it's really the gloves will come off, right? And everybody's going to have to answer for things they never thought were going to come up. And that's just how it goes. But he's already been answering a lot of these uncomfortable things, including some of the very, very, I think, very cruel and vile things that Chad Bianco supporters throw out there as reasons why they wouldn't support Hilton, because he's a, quote, foreigner. He's not. He's an American, because he speaks with an accent. Well, he speaks with a British accent because he's not a native-born American. And all of you out there in the Republican, or who call yourselves Republicans, who are saying that it's Steve's foreign-born status and Steve's accent that makes you the most suspicious of him, y'all are supporting the 11 billion Latina and Asian American candidates that we're putting up for office in the Republican Party right now. And the majority of them are foreign-born, and the majority of them speak with accents. And you don't have a damn thing to say about them because they're good candidates. You're going to support them, right? I've never heard this argument come up before now. I think that's very cruel and personal. I don't have anything personal to say about Chad. I just don't think he's a good candidate. But the reason why Chad gets mad at her and he says, you know what, I'm afraid to say anything because you're going to cut up one little soundbite. Sir, this is an election. This is what you do. This is social media, my friend. No, you don't get the benefit of having an hour and a half explanation for everything and everyone watching every moment of media you do. This is why I say you're not ready for prime time, because that's like rookie behavior. Everybody gets it. Everybody knows. Yeah, of course. The clips can misrepresent you. They can edit you any kind of way. You have to know that going into the interview. Furthermore, when you clarify yourself, it wasn't any better anyway. But this is, how are you going to this? You all are going to clip up what I say. No, what you mean is you guys are going to report what I say, and that's not fair. You're upset that people are reporting what you're saying, and that's what you're taking personally, and that's what Chad Bianco supporters seem to be taking personally. The idea that people are reporting on what he's saying, and they feel like that's not fair. You can make your own judgments about him, but nobody's lying so far. Nobody's lying. Chad is tough like Kim Porter or Katie Porter. Do you mean? He also thinks he can transfer his skills to Sacramento, and that will be easy. Right? You're right. That's a really good point. Actually, he says he can. He keeps giving us this line too about, like, I'm the only one with actual governing experience. Sir, I don't know if you've looked around, but the people governing this state are not the people we trust, and the people who keep pitching their experience governance, we don't trust that anymore. You guys have driven the state into the crap hole. So I don't think the experienced professional class is like a winning tact right now. And yeah, you can have all the experience in the world, but if you go into Sacramento with a chip on your shoulder as a Republican, you're going to face plant real quick. And unfortunately, if we send you there as governor with that chip on your shoulder, we're all going to face plant with you. And I don't want that. All right. We got to close out this show. Let me know what you think. You can hit me up at Orange Report OC across the webs, or just KiraDavis.com, or right here on X at Kira Davis. I'll be filling in for Dr. Drew next week. And so we just like to make sure that the viewers are familiar with me before they pitch me at the regular audience. And I know it's hard, folks, when you tune in and you don't have your regular favorite host hosting, but I promise you, we have so much fun. When I fill in, we have the best time. What did Rush Limbaugh used to say? It'll be like a warm, relaxing massage with kid gloves, something like that. I'm not as good. I'm not as great as the great one, but we try, don't we? All right. Well, it's great to be with you today. Thank you for tuning into the Orange Report. I'm Kira Davis. Don't forget, sunlight is the best disinfectant. So bring on the sunshine. Catch you guys later.